Hello students, I, Mrs. Archana Bhatija, teaching at Seth Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College of Science and Commerce, here again with you dealing with a very important topic in English grammar. Students, the harmony between thought and reality is found in the grammar of the language. While speaking and expressing thoughts, needs, experiences through words and sentences, we make use of a certain structure. In the structure of any sentence, each word has a specific position. Every sentence and every word has importance. To make it simple and easy, I discuss with you a very important topic, direct and indirect speech. Direct and indirect speech here in this video is dealt with definitions, fundamentals, examples, and self-assessment worksheets. Content and retain it. I have put, you can see some of the sentences on the screen which I have been putting it up. These sentences on both the columns, you observe the changes. The examples given within inverted commas and the simple statements given in the next column. Beginning with the definition, what is direct speech? The actual words spoken or quoted by the speaker. Indirect speech, the words spoken by the speaker and are reported as to what he or she has said. An example put forth for you. Ram says, I am glad to be here this evening. Direct speech has to change into indirect speech. Ram said that he was glad to be there that evening. When we change sentence from direct speech to indirect speech, the sentences are of different caliber. Exclamatory sentence, the sentence that expresses joy, sorrow, wonder with an exclamatory mark is in the direct speech changed to a statement. And while changing from direct to indirect speech, we make use of certain rules and regulations wherein we remove the exclamatory mark and we add certain words like exclaimed, expressing the exclamatory mark. He said, how beautiful a place. Reported in indirect speech, he exclaimed with joy that it was a beautiful place. So students, you have understood that the exclamatory expression has changed into a statement with the help of the word exclaimed, removing the inverted commas. The same rule follows for this next sentence. He said, wow, what a nice shirt. He exclaimed with wonder that it was a nice shirt. The exclamatory mark has been reported in the form of exclaimed with joy and exclaimed with wonder. Changing from direct to indirect speech for imperative sentence. An imperative sentence is a simple sentence with a command, request or advice which changes from direct to indirect. He said to me, please help me. In indirect speech, he requested me to help him. To change such a sentence, we add words like requested. He said, open the door. He ordered me to open the door. Here we have added the word ordered. These conjunctions show or express the type of sentence that has been changed from direct to indirect sentence speech. The next form of sentence, interrogative sentence. A question statement is as an interrogative sentence with the question mark from direct speech is changed to the indirect speech. I asked him, do you know when she will go home? In indirect speech, it is reported as, I asked him if he knew when she will go home. In direct speech, the verb is changed to ask, enquire, using whether or if followed by the verb. He said, did you go to college? He asked me if I had gone to college. The verb asked is followed by whether or if to portray the importance of the question mark. So students, with the previous examples, most of the things have been cleared. Now, what you read in direct and indirect speech, reporting from direct to indirect, that was just the tip of the iceberg. When you actually work on these sentences, whether from direct to indirect or vice versa, you should be very thorough with certain fundamentals like tenses, pronouns, verbs, conjunctions, punctuations, adverbs and many more demonstrators which further add to the changes. In these fundamentals, you are already updated with your knowledge till now with a repository of the details about what tenses change. A simple present changes to a simple past. Similarly, a continuous present changes to a continuous past. A perfect present to a perfect past, and a perfect present continuous to a perfect past continuous only. Pronouns also undergo a change from direct to indirect and vice versa. The pronoun of the reported speech is changed according to the pronoun of the reporting verb, as we saw in the previous sentences. Verbs. The verbs are added in the reported speech with reporting verbs like asked, inquired, whether, if, etc. You also saw in the given examples the changes including conjunctions. In indirect speech, conjunctions like that, whether, even the other conjunctions like asked, these are added to even replied, requested, inquired, etc. Students, I am sure you have noticed the changes in the punctuations. From direct to indirect, you drop down the punctuations like inverted commas, exclamatory marks, question marks, etc. Moving on with adverbs and other demonstratives, there are changes in many other words like these becomes those, yesterday changes to the day before, tomorrow changes to the next day, etc. So you should be very thorough or very much updated with these important fundamentals about the topics given on your screen, so that you have no problem in changing from direct to indirect speech. And all these fundamentals are very important. Now I think when we move on from the definitions to examples and fundamentals, we have almost completed the entire topic based on direct and indirect speech. Yes, here are a few examples again for you to revise. He said, I have passed the examination. He said that he had passed the examination. Students, the sentences with underlined words have passed changes to had passed. You have noticed the change in the tenses. In the same sentence, you have as well noticed the change in the pronouns. I have passed the examination. He said that he had passed the examination. So the pronoun changes according to the reporting verb. The second sentence, he said to me, what are you doing? He asked me, what was I doing? In this sentence too, you can notice that interrogative sentence changing into a simple statement by removing the question mark and expressing the question or the interrogative example with the help of the conjunction like asked. He asked me, what was I doing? As well as the helping verb are or is changes to was. Anne said, I am so clever, with an exclamatory mark, since she expresses her joy. Anne exclaimed that she was very clever. I think these examples give you a certain revision of all the fundamentals that we discussed just now. So students, I think the knowledge put up to you about direct and indirect speech has been cleared to a lot of its extent. Now, here is a self-assessment sheet for you. You can write down these sentences and make a self-improvement in what you have the knowledge about direct and indirect speech, utilizing all the fundamentals to make it into the next answers of these given questions. Even for the standards of students of standard 12th, rewriting using direct speech, you can yourself prepare You can always create a dialogue between two friends on the topic given qualities of a good sports person in direct speech and transform this dialogue into a summary in indirect speech. Almost all the fundamentals will be utilized while you are putting up this self-assessment on a paper. So students, now we end this chapter of direct and indirect speech with a very popular quote by Aristotle. Proper arrangement of the parts of speech makes a good speech. Thank you, students.